Hi, welcome to Second Bloom Studios. I'm Wendy Davis. I'm going to paint today. This is a place where we all gather, all us ladies over, I want to say 55, women of a certain age, who are perhaps starting over. Maybe you're retired and you want to start something new, or you have some passion in you that you want to get going, some creative juices you want to let go of and learn to do. I'm a painter. I oil paint. This is where we all get together and talk about what we love, and also a little bit of a spiritual connection with the divine and how that flows through us and how it helps us to do things like this. Paint great things. So, excuse me while I get my gloves on. Anyway, I'm going to paint. Maybe we'll have some chatting along the way, or maybe we'll just listen to some music. I don't know. I hope that you have things that you want to comment on. Let me know what you're thinking and what you'd like to see in future videos. Maybe things you'd like to talk about or hear about. So anyway, I'm going to get going. Got my favorite brush to start with. It's a number 4. I've actually had this. This is like one of the oldest brushes I have ever had. It's from college. So I don't know how, it's a lot of decades old, but it's a delightful brush. It's held its shape. It's really, really nice. And it's a filbert hog bristle, I believe. No, it's actually a Grumbacher, not a Princeton. It's a Grumbacher. But I don't see too many of those anymore. But anyway, I'm going to start. Here is, get out some of my Gamsol, move my coffee so I don't dunk my brush in my coffee. That'd be bad. Oh, there we go. A little bit of this. And I'm going to start with some darks because I've got this painting, this image from here to show you. See, I've got a grid on there. So I can see where things are, and I've gridded out my panel, and I painted it the other day, which I did film, so if you want to see that, you can. But I'm going to I usually go in and do all the darks first and kind of build forward, dark to light. And so there's lots of shadows in these trees that are kind of a darky green color, maybe a little bit even darker than this color. So I'm going to get some of this darker brown in here. So, let's see what happens. See, there's a lot of darks up here. There are a lot of darks there. You're kind of hanging out in this direction. I'm just not too worried about, what it looks like quite yet. I'm just kind of getting some of these little splotches that are hanging down that are really dark. I've got some in the shadow stuff going on. Like I said, it's not really imperative that I'm following anything real closely, because chances are I'm just going to paint over all this anyway. These won't be a lot of the final colors. These might just be place markers, because, things change when you're painting. So where's some more darks? There's a lot of darks down here in the deep shadowy areas. I don't want that to be dark there because that's my delightful highlight where that tree gets hit by the sun, so I don't want that there. I'll wipe that up. There is a lot of darks in here. Darks hanging out in this direction over here. And let's see. A lot of shadows on the ground over here. This tree. Let's look for areas in this grass that looks really in the shadows. I'm not making it super dark because it gets progressively lighter as it goes up away from you. These closer shadows are super dark, but then they get lighter and they'll change to a brighter green as they get up there. But I'm just sort of marking in some spacing here so I can see what's going on. And that way some of the darks will show through when I paint the light over the top of it. And maybe some of these bigger brush stroke shapes will show up as well, which is nice. It helps give it more energy and looseness in the final piece. Okay, so dark, 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 dark. Darks here. And this dark in here. In there, dark there, dark, dark, dark. This has all been blocked out pretty much. A little bigger. There. All right, so I think I got most of these darks in. I'm gonna have to come back in and do the sky later. The darks in the sky because I don't want to muck up the blue area yet. All right, so got a paper towel here. So what are you guys working on? What do you love to do? What is your passion? What are the things that now that, well, maybe you have a little bit more free time, maybe not, or maybe you are just going to take it anyway and do what you want. What are the things that you are doing that are lighting you up inside? I've been painting for about, I want to say 9 years now, and I'm self-taught. I did go to art school, but I went to art school for graphic design because, back in the 80s, nobody made, being a fine artist was really rare, and people didn't just go out and say, well, I'm going to be a painter and I'm going to go to fine, they did get degrees in fine art. But, those are the kind of things that your parents say, you're not going to make any money, you got to go do something that will, support you, because painting isn't going to do it. And that's not necessarily true, but in those days, you were driven by, how you were gonna get through and make money and live. So I did graphic design, but we did have some painting. We got, we had a little bit of a well-rounded education in the arts. So that was nice. Lots of composition, we did a lot of life drawing, a little bit of painting. It was mostly acrylic, so the oils came later, and I basically had to teach myself. Although I have to say, YouTube was a big, huge part of that, because by the time I did finally start learning, YouTube was just happening and people were putting things out there, and you could tune into their channels and see what they were doing, and it was so much help for somebody who wasn't, I didn't want to go take a class because I was chicken and I didn't want to look stupid, so I didn't do that. But YouTube brings it all into your house and you can do it all by yourself. So I really like that aspect of learning, because I really like to teach myself things. And painting is so fun. It's so experimental. It doesn't matter. You can make mistakes. Who cares? But anyway, I've gotten to a point where I kind of have my process and I know, how to lay the paint down, and that's helpful. But I also feel like once you get into this zone, it's not you painting anymore. It's just coming through you. You're just doing it, and you feel so connected, and you feel so just in the zone. All this time goes by and you're like, oh my God, 2 hours gone by and I didn't even know it. So anyway, I'll continue. Hopefully you can just hang out with me and let me continue to do things and see where I've made mistakes. I don't want that to go out there in that area, because that's really the end of the branch. So I'm going to wipe this off and maybe start with a little bit lighter green, which I have some right here, and start putting in this nice little blue green that's happening here. These are really dark. I'm going to have to come back in and lighten this up. All right, so that. I don't like that color, not a good one. What happened? Favorite palette knife. I always use it to wipe my paint off on, because my paintbrush gets a little gobbly and then I want to wipe it on something and fix it. I do predominantly lighter, thinner layers first, so that later when I come back in with more different variations of color and stuff, then I can make my heavier brush strokes, because they'll tend to be more permanent at that time than these ones that are the ones just laying down color and blocking in the areas that you want to kind of demarcate as certain values. And let's see how that goes. Whatever comes down this way, this way. And so clearly I'm not going to paint this whole thing today. I'm just doing a little bit of brush work, laying some stuff in so I can get a little bit farther down the road. You can sit in with me and see what you think and watch the process as it unfolds. Got that, and there. Other greens over here. Lots of horizontal looking marks in this area where the tree layers are coming down. I'm trying to put those in maybe a little more horizontal, make it look like the branches coming down. And over here I've got a pine tree that's a different green, and I've got some more greens over here, but they're probably brighter color. Kind of go up that way. And here. I always find it really interesting how different people paint differently. It's like for me, I always paint dark to light and usually background to foreground, except for the sky. I like to put that in last because then I can keep it cleaner and not, get the blues dirty. But, I see other people paint and they'll like paint top down, like this through a forest. I'm like, how do you even do that? I don't know. I mean, and it works because like they'll come up with these images that are so amazing and, often so photographically realistic because they're just doing such a small amount in each, little time period, as they go through the painting. But for me, it's more holistic. I have to put the colors down where they are first. And if I'm doing the darks, I do the darks. And if I'm doing the light greens, I block out the light greens. And if I do the trees, I block out the trees. And it just helps me. And then by the end, it's this puzzle of layers until finally, it starts to come together and look like more like what it's supposed to look like. And, paintings, especially portraits, man, portraits always have an ugly period. I mean, oh my gosh, you're in there going, oh, this is so bad. But, you keep going and they come around. They really do, it's just, again, lots of layers going back in and, reinterpreting and tightening up and doing layers. And then it just comes around and, it always, nobody's ever more amazed than me when something ends up looking the way you kind of was hoping it'd turn out, or, it looks like what it was supposed to look like. So that said, I just like to, I want to go in there and have fun. I don't want to, make myself crazy feeling like I'm worried about how it's going to be. This is just going to be the way it is, and not much you can do about that. So, okay, I've got lots of greens in there, and lots of, let's see, up there I need maybe some more this green color up here. So I'm just putting it in splotchy because as the light's filtering through the trees, it's very, loose, and there's lots of sky back in there, and I don't want to just block it all in solid, because then it's going to look really dense and flat and not have, different areas and different values and different layers of the leaves in the shade and the sun. All right, and back in here, those are more browns. Let me see if I can get this cleaned off there, and I'll get some more brownie. Get some greens that have more browns for the shadowy areas if I can. So I'm going to drag some burnt sienna in here and see if I can come up with a nice green that has some burnt sienna in it. Let's see. So my palette, I have this palette that has so many colors on it. I'll just show you up close a little bit. I usually have yellow ochre, cadmium yellow, cadmium yellow, yellow ochre, cadmium red, Chinese vermilion, alizarin crimson. This is probably a emerald phthalo. This is a viridian. This is a sap green, which I don't use sap green that often, but sometimes. That's a permanent green, and that's a one of those really bright, lighter color greens. I can't remember which one it is. I'd have to look. That is a phthalo blue and a ultramarine blue. I have dioxazine purple up there, and a violet. Can't remember what the violet is. And then over here, that's a king's blue, and that is a manganese blue, I think. It's very turquoise. And I have my, burnt sienna. And then usually a lamp black over here, and maybe a raw umber. I try not to use those too much because the raw umber always makes it kind of sink. It doesn't behave like the other paint. The other paints are usually really bright and shiny, and the browns usually sink in and look dull. So I usually only try to use those in combination with other paint, like adding it to something to make it a little bit browner. But anyway, and then over here I have a Hansa yellow and a yellow, cadmium yellow light, I think. And I have a couple of different oranges over here, and here's an Indian yellow. Those are just kind of left over from the last painting. If they're not all dead after I paint it, I leave them on there because you never know when you might need a little touch of something. I also I don't know however many other artists there are out there, but do you have a freezer in your garage where you keep your palette? I do that. It's probably bad, but I do it because I'm not going to scrape. Look at all this paint on here. I'm not scraping that off and throwing it away. I mean, unless it's bad. And if you keep it in the freezer, it'll last a while, especially if you're painting every day. It comes in and out and you're using it. I find if I leave my palette in there for a month at a time and I haven't done anything, then I just scrape it off. But also, I use a Rublev Oleo Gel as my medium because I really like it. Looks like this. It's right here. Rublev, probably backwards because this is video. Rublev Oleo Gel. It's really lovely. It's supposed to be not very toxic. It's like a non-toxic liquid. I don't use liquid unless I'm outside because it's not good for you. Really sorry liquid makers, but lots of toxic stuff going on, and I know people who have had not good reactions having it in the studio and not having a fan or something. So anyway, I'll get back to painting. Just kind of giving you some thoughts that I had along the way. So I'm going to go in and do some of the browny colors in here. That's still not very brown. You get some alizarin in there, make it a lot more brown. Yeah, that looks better. So there's these darker areas here in the shade. That's even a little too brown. Put some cream in there. Okay. Yeah, not sure what that's about. Marks in here that kind of hang out in that direction. So that's in here. Pine tree up here, that's kind of a brownier color, although I'll go over it in green later. Got some shadowy stuff happening in here. And over here, this one does too. It's got some interesting darks going on. Right there. Okay. Brush down. And where did you go? All right, get a new one. Oh. I use these blue ones. They're automotive towels. They look like this. I learned a while back that these are really handy for when you want to wipe things away, because they tend to wipe it away really cleanly and they don't leave like limpy things like paper towels do. So I just kind of like to go in and clean up some of this because I don't want a lot of that on my trees in some areas. I want the light to be, I don't want to muck that up. If there's any kind of weird spots that I don't care for. Okay, that's alright. So, okay, back now. So I just want to kind of maybe show you what my rough underlay is looking like now. Got lots of different greens in there, kind of demarcating where the shadows are, the lights and the darks. I'm going to continue on, but I often at this point like to wait a little while so that this layer dries up a little bit, so I don't start smearing it and just mucking with the colors. I want the colors on top to stay the colors on top and not necessarily mix. So I think I'm going to take a break right now, and we'll do some more later.